looking at the Arizona Cardinals right now, and you can look at all the, win this and that with the other YouTubers. What I'm going to be talking about today is that this is the perfect game for Tua Tagovailoa to be coming back to the team. So people are going to compare, obviously, the first time that he came back from a concussion, it was against Pittsburgh. And at that time, and even still today, Pittsburgh defense was ridiculous. It's extremely good. And at that time, it was one of the best defenses in the league. What he's coming back to is Arizona Cardinals, which I think that was something like, if you remember, right after the Pittsburgh game, the next game he went off. He did something beautiful right after that, and then it all the way up to the Green Bay game. But it looked like he was back, after the Pittsburgh game. The first game was obviously rough, but he was facing an extremely good defense. This time, Tua is going to be going up against the 27th NFL defense, 27th ranked, which the reason they're 27th ranked as well is because their yards per attempt against the pass is literally 30th. People pass all over the Arizona Cardinals defense. They have nobody on that defense. And the reason why that's perfect is because I understand, I think we all are very hyped up for Tua, and I think he looked great. They even saying in the practice that he had some 40-yard pass that everybody was like, dude, we are back. What you're going to see with this as well, obviously the 27th rank, he's coming back to a much easier defense, is that you're going to see, when you look at a lot of the tape from the past, I would say 2 or 3 weeks, and even some of the plays where you saw just were completely missed, is that Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle were wide open on a lot of plays. Now, that goes to the coach based upon not strategically making it. I mean, you choose your backup quarterback because you think he can fill the role of your starter if your starter goes down. That's the whole reason of that's why every team has a backup quarterback. So the way that it happened, of course, Mike McDaniel takes a lot of the blame because you chose the quarterbacks that you wanted and they just could not function. Quick intermission. If you're liking this video, do me that favor. Hit the like, hit that subscribe. Fins up, baby, in this offense, which these are choices. Like, even the guy that you had to start off first off the bat was one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. So Tua coming back for this game, it's going to be huge because he's not facing the Pittsburgh Steelers defense where he has to come back from, recollection. And the thing is that after that concussion, that was a serious concussion that he had against the Bengals. I know he was fencing against the Buffalo Bills, but it was not the same concussion that the Cincinnati Bengals had. Honestly, he was traveling with the team a week afterwards, which when you have a concussion, you're not allowed to do stuff like that, which means that he basically passed concussion protocol immediately. He went to Disney on Ice. He did all that because he was fine. So what we're going to see this coming game, which I think was the perfect thing to happen, is you have this defense, this 27th ranked defense. Jonnu Smith has become very much more associated in this offense, and we've kind of low-key figured out the running game a little bit. Obviously, the fumbles happened last week, but you put Jalen right in there, it's a different story. And I love Mostert. Ingold needs to stop running the ball. There's no reason for him. He needs to block and catch passes. He does not need to be running the ball on 4th and 1. But what Tua is going to bring is exactly what we needed, because when you have this type of defense that we're playing against, the whole 3 other teams, Tyreek Hill and Waddle, were getting open. And if Tua was in there, we were going to be hitting play after play after play. You have to remember that the first couple of weeks, people are still trying to figure their team out. And even so, it's so funny to me. I understand the Chiefs won, but when Chiefs played the 49ers and the 49ers itself, both those quarterbacks do the same amount of interceptions that Tua did against the Bills. It's just this is what we have to understand about Tua, is the leeway for error is so much higher on these other teams because of their coaches, their defense, their players, all of that, versus what Tua has. If Tua makes any mistakes, typically the defense lets stuff through. So the thing is that, and I understand some people are going to sit there and comment whatever they're going to comment, but you have to understand the leeway for this guy is so small because, as you can see, this team does not run without him. And And again, like I said, you can see these quarterbacks still throw multiple interceptions. No one cares because their team stays in the game. Whereas with us, the coach and everyone just falls apart during key moments. And why this game is going to be perfect is because we're going to incorporate, hopefully, I'm begging Mike McDaniel to incorporate the run game like he has the past couple of weeks so that the play action can be a big factor. When you're launching the ball 40 different times, no one's scared of your run game. No one cares about play action. And what's the funniest thing is that Tua is one of the best in the league at play action passing. So you're going to come to a defense that you can pass the ball all over the yard and also run the ball all over the yard. This should be the perfect game to get the offense back together to play Buffalo. This should be the game that we can get everything together, and it might be a shootout because Kyler Murray is not a slouch. But this would be the perfect game to get everything together to play Buffalo. And again, Tua coming back, it's just a different vibe. Like, dude looked like a dog in the press conference. The guy looked like the man. Like, he looked like the leader of this team. Mike Manale is not the leader of this team. Curtis Weaver is not the leader of this team. It was clear as day, and this is why I don't get people sometimes, is that clearly when he stepped on the podium and people walking around and Tua just literally just having the football in his hands and throwing it to people, it's just a different vibe on this team. This team feels as though they can win again. And this is something that I think so many people don't recognize or choose not to. Is that when you have a player that comes on the field, that people just change their outlook completely when they're on the field versus when they're off. That's like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. That's something that doesn't happen for most people. Like, if you really look at Aaron Rodgers or I don't know, Jacoby Brissett for most of the season, or Will Levis or Mason Rudolph, or even Justin Fields, or a lot of these quarterbacks that you have starting, they don't give you that same presence where they get on the field and the team is different. The team's not the same. They feel it. They feel it when that person steps on the field. It's a leader. That's what Tua is. And that's why this game is going to be perfect to get our season back on track and to make a statement, hopefully, against Buffalo. But we'll see. I'm very optimistic. You guys come to this channel because I'm an optimistic Dolphin fan. I want to see us win. I don't want to see us tank like the rest of these kind of losers that want to see your team lose. I don't understand that. You want to see your team lose. Why would you want to see that? I want to see them win. So, perfect game for Tua to come back. As always, guys, love you all. Fins up, baby. Peace.